The third to last starter deck for the 2023 season. How you doing? We have covered almost all of the new starter decks, and we're going to see which ones of these are going to be upgraded, which ones of these we are going to use in the future. But today, we are taking a look at Stealthy Subterfuge. Haven't necessarily played exactly this deck yet, but I have played a lot of ninjas. When they first came out, I thought they were going to be the biggest business out there for a long time. But with how cluttered standard is right now, it seems like they needed a little bit more help. Maybe just a rotation is going to really help them. We will see how that goes, though. So, what does this deck have? What is this deck doing? When looking at this deck, we are seeing that we have Silver Fur Master, definitely a need whenever you're playing ninjas. You have the Inkrise Infiltrator, which I'm not a big fan of, but it is a flyer. I would rather have a one-cost flyer, but, having this guy here, Thousand Face Shadow. Now, this card is very necessary for any kind of ninjutsu or ninja deck. Whenever you cast him, you could cast him for 1, and he is just a 1/1 flyer. But if you ninjutsu him into the battlefield, you get to create a copy of another attacking creature. The creature enters the battlefield tapped and attacking. He is how we are going to create more and more and more ninjas. Especially late game, you get the Prosperous Thief out. Early game, you start creating treasures. You get to the late game, you ninjutsu him out, and ninjutsu him in, ninjutsu him out, ninjutsu him in, depending on how much mana you have, and you can create infinite amount of creatures. It is a beautiful thing when it actually kicks off. You also have a Kaito. It's really nice that they give everybody a Kaito to start with, because this is a very good planeswalker for any kind of blue-black deck you could think of. I would say that this has the potential to be in almost any blue-black deck. But what does Kaito do? Draw a card, then discard a card unless you attack this turn. So you swing, and then you decide what to do with your Kaito, right? So you could draw a card. If you've attacked, you do not have to discard, but if you have not attacked, you have to discard. His -2 is you create a 1/1 blue ninja creature token with this creature cannot be blocked. The -7 is very interesting too. I think this would work really good with zombies as well, right? But you get an emblem. Whenever a creature you control deals combat damage to a player, search your library for a blue-black creature card, put it onto the battlefield, then shuffle. Yeah, that is huge. It's not drawing it to your hand, you're putting it directly to the battlefield. Now, I generally don't get Kaito all the way up to 7 because I love that draw power. Draw power is amazing. It's one way to stay ahead of your opponent at all times. But if you want to pop him for that emblem, you're doing really well. You're doing really well. And this Kaito can help you from turn 3, which is just outstanding. And you don't even have to protect him for that first turn, because when he enters a battlefield, the first turn, he phases out. He comes back in on your next turn. Just that one turn phasing is really good because you can cast him naked and then hope to get some creature out the next turn to protect him, or, create a ninja that next turn whenever he's got 2 loyalty on him, and you would have 2 loyalty on him. You put him out, draw a card, next turn, when he phases back in, down to 2 with that -2, and then you have a ninja to protect him if you need it. Also have Satoru Umezawa, which has a really neat ability. Whenever I was messing around with ninjas, I crafted 4 of these in my main account, right? And, I mean, it's just a phenomenal value card. I don't know how good it's going to be, especially if you're doing more of an aggro-based ninja deck. But I really think this card has a place with ninjas. Let's look at it a little bit. Whenever you cast a ninjutsu ability, look at the top 3 cards of your library, put one of them into your hand and the rest in the bottom of the library in any order. Each card in your hand has ninjutsu 4. So, looking at this, making everything ninjutsu in hand with this deck is probably not that great. But what if you were to do big creatures like a Hullbreaker Horror, like Titan of Industry, these other really big creatures? You could get them out with Satoru Umezawa. And I think that would be fun. Maybe I could make a deck around that idea, right? But they will all be able to be cast for 4 mana. And that's incredibly cheap, incredibly good value there. Of course, we talked a little bit about Silver Fur Master, but you get 1/1s and stuff like that. So before we get into some matches, though, I just want to say, if you like this series, if you like this stuff, comment below. talk about which decks you want to see upgraded, see which decks you enjoyed watching the most, right? Make sure you like and subscribe as well. It really helps the channel out, and I'm really happy with where the direction is going. Thank you very much for your support, especially for you subscribers out there and returning viewers. Thank you so much for being here. Let's get into some matches. Okay. Get an Infiltrator. This is... Um... I'm not liking this card. I like the second ability, but it costs 5. It's more of a really late game card. And we are trying to do damage early, so we'll see how this goes. Ninjas I like to be really cheap. Like Umezawa will probably be the high end of the cards that I will play an upgraded version of this deck. Snow Forest. Blue-green. Yep, emergent sequence. So, yeah. Let's get the Infiltrator down. It does count as a creature. You may discard a creature card. Okay, you got the Zemona Quixadrox. Oh, this card is dangerous too. Opponent's got a lot of very dangerous cards here. So, what is the opponent going to try to do? Probably... Do we want to kill the land? I think killing land in a deck like this is really good. We're going to pull him in as a ninjutsu. What if I did this? Let's do this instead. Return this. Return that land to hand. Swing for 2. Now when it comes out, it's not going to be a creature. So maybe that's enough to slow the opponent down a little bit. Down to 16. Okay, Silver Fur Master. Good card in this situation. Makes my guy a little bit bigger. Swing for 3. Does he block? Yes. And he's going to tap to put a land out. So he does get some value. And get the Infiltrator back down since that's the course of action we're taking. Land. Elder Guard. So we don't want to use Behold yet. We want to make sure we burn through our hand before we use Behold. Get this out. Swing. And now it's a great time to ninjutsu in the silencer. Hits. Discard the silencer, I think, right? And then kill the Elder Guard. That's a lot of his kill power right there. And we can put the Infiltrator back in. We've been able to eliminate most of the opponent's field, which is great. Okay. He's hexproof. He's not indestructible, though. Blizzard Brawl and the Infiltrator. Okay. We're down to 3 creatures. Opponent is as well. That is indestructible and hexproof now, so we're going to have to let that damage through. Good job, opponent, getting that damage in. Ambusher. Do I like Ambusher? Maybe. It would be a way to bust some health into our hand. We will get a little bit of health from it. Swing on both sides. And I really want to get rid of this avalanche collar. I wanted to get rid of this since the beginning, but there were other targets. Is that good enough? Nah, I think we let this happen. Opponent's down to one card. Let's do Behold the Unspeakable and get our cards. Yep. -2, -0. He's still going to be able to make them big. There's a Strider. He taps out the Silencer, which is not my favorite. Alright, we get to scry 2, then draw 2. Fading Hope for sure. And a Silver Fur Master? Yes, sir. We want both of those. We can draw another card here, but I think we drop the Silver Fur Master. Opponent. Okay. If I drop this in as well, no, because we want to be able to, well, we can ninjutsu this in. Swing with the Specialist. That's an easy block for opponent. But it also puts the opponent in a bit of a pickle. Let's go to the next turn. Hopefully he spends some mana before doing the collar, because he'll definitely put it back on the field. Yes! Now return him to hand, and no damage can be done. Raven Lore, though, is good. Scry X, where X is the amount of snow spent to cast the spell, then draw 3. It's very expensive, but yeah, put that on a bottle. But when you can get it to go off, it's pretty good. Now he won't be able to do anything with his Avalanche Color. We don't get hit for any damage here. He does get to draw 3 cards, though. Sculptor of Winter, a little late. 2/2 flying. Trample. And he gets +1/+1 for each card in hand. So, very likely he's going to 0. Sculptor of Winter, probably a chunk blocker at this point in the game. It is. Yep. We'll let that all happen and end turn. This is instant speed. Tapped land. Do we get the Avalanche Collar again? Or do we get something bigger? More dangerous? Killing land here is not good because he has plenty of land. We have 11 health left. Opponent has 6. I think we let this resolve. I don't think I'm scared of this anymore. We have a pretty good board state. Alright, so tap 4, draw a card. You may put a land card from your hand to the battlefield. That's not good at this point in the game. Just a little chunk blocker. And then another Sculptor of Winter. The most dangerous out of these is going to be the Avalanche Collar. Good deal. Good deal. Man, oh man. Swing with everything. Next. Opponent's got a block. And I don't know if he knows it, but he is definitely dead. Ninjutsu on the visions on the unspeakable. Get in there, get that damage through. Game. Fantastic. Okay, I think this is alright. We want to get that Prosperous Thief out. We want it doing combat damage. We can cast him for 2 for ninjutsuing Inkai's Infiltrator, which I think is pretty good. I would rather have a 1-cast flyer. Oh boy, we're not doing this again, are we? Looks like we are. Get the Infiltrator down. Tapped land. Swing! Prosperous Thief comes out. Swap them out. Hit. Treasure. Put the Infiltrator back down. Now, we do have a way of sacking creatures. This is kind of a soft sack. If they put good enough things out, they're going to discard cards. Scoot, Swarm, all ready. Well, swing away. No blocks. We put Ninjutsu in the Shadow Walker. Can do this, however, and I like this a little bit better. Yeah. Ninjutsu in the Silencer. Create a treasure. We're going to discard the lifelink. And he gets rid of his Scoot Swarm. Now, he's definitely got more Scoot Swarms. There's no way he gives up his only Scoot Swarm. Okay. That's fairly small right now. Swing with just the Infiltrator. Pop it like it's hot. Right now, this is pretty alright. We don't need to put the Infiltrator back out. Now, we're going to try with the Long Reach Knight, but I'm about 100% sure he just discards lands. There's a white. A Path to the Festival. Search your library for a basic land. Put that onto the battlefield tapped, and then shuffle. If there are 3 or more basic land types among the lands you control, scry 3. We get another land. Golly gee, golly gee. Alright, sack it or discard. Discard. Yep, see? Basic land. Swing like this. Be aggressive. Down to 3. Treasure. Decline. Ink Rise. I think we got him. See, you gotta be fast with these ninja decks. They've got to be very fast. 4 should be your high spot. Gotta put a creature out there, buddy. A couple of them. Okay. Yep. Can he choose a stack of creature? No, he can't. He's got to discard. Again. So we just move to attacks. Activate. Activate. Yeah! Oh, Infiltrator for the win. Okay, Network Disruptor and Silver for Master. This is a keep. We need land, though. We need to draw some land. And That's magic, right? Draw what you need. We'll retap our mana. Network Disruptor on the field. Tapped land. Awesome, we drew land. I don't think there's any reason in Ninjutsu, the Silver Fur Master, to be able to swing for 4 next turn. And that's good. Opponent, Dismal Backwater. Hopefully we finally ran into another starter deck. We've played all kinds of crazy stuff with this deck so far. Might add some of that content, but let's just say it didn't go well facing a full-fledged Angel deck. You know, black and white with all rares. It did not go well. And yeah, that's just kind of what happens. Sometimes in play, they can't find an opponent that's on the same level of cards that you have, and you end up getting wiped out pretty quickly. It did do a good job removing my creature. Swing! Poke for 1. We're going to leave all mana untapped. Fake Your Own Death could definitely be a play with Network Disruptor. It wouldn't be bad at all, actually. There's another tap land from opponent, so it looks like he does not have a sweaty deck. The first thing you want to remove from all the starter decks is the land base. We're going to fake our own death here. Oh no, I'm dead! We will tap your last mana as well. You want a Fading Hope me? No. Okay. So, I think right here, I actually want to Behold. Yep, swing for 1. Real slow match. We are out of cards, but if Behold survives this turn, that'll be a little bit different. Shadow Face. Thousand-Faced Shadow. Prosperous Thief. So. Put mana on bottom. We have plenty of it. We'll draw 2 cards. This costs 4. Now, if he trades with the Thousand-Faced Shadow, that's fantastic. Let's try to get that trade. He wants to trade. That's perfect. We get rid of a very good card here. The real question is he willing to discard everything to keep the thief or not? I'm really hoping he sacks the thief. He gets rid of a Fading Hope. Was he out of mana last turn? Because he should have probably Fading Hoped that Thousand-Faced Shadow. Okay. Opponent's getting some value with this treasure. We want to nip that in the bud as fast as possible. Sack a creature or discard a card. We get our 4/4 out. Flying Trample, 4/4. And if we get more cards in our hand, he's bigger. He discards again. Alright. So we could hardcast Shadow Walker. And I think we will. We don't want him attacking. We want to ninjutsu this and do it all over again. Uh-oh. Don't look at him. Quit looking at him. What do you do, opponent? We finally found a... This is our deck that we're facing, by the way. I'm 100% sure that this is our exact deck. No, it's not, because of the Bloodchief Thirsts. We don't have those. So slightly different... This is going to be the cheapest. We don't want to do his effect, though, so we put the Silver Furmaster out instead. Just to get this added benefit of the 1/1 over here on the Shadow Walker. And then next turn, we can put out the Behold the Unspeakable again. But for now, we go with the Inkrise Infiltrator. And then next turn, we start swinging heavily. Yeah, opponent doesn't like that value at all, and scoops. We did it! Victory! This is unkeepable. No 1-drops or anything like that. Yeah, this is keepable, though. This is very keepable. We could get rid of probably a Network Disruptor. No, let's not do that. And we're definitely not getting rid of the Thief. Tapped land is always bad, right? Let's throw away the tapped land. Tap my blue mana. Passes turn. This is really good. That means we don't have to put Prosperous Thief in quite yet. We got the land drop this turn, so we're hoping he doesn't play anything too big here. Got a blue, got a white. That's good. That's very good. Very good creature, because you can get a 3/2 off on it. Yeah, on turn 2, that's really, really good. Did not get land this turn. So, we swing, use the Thief to create a treasure. Gets in, creates a treasure, but we're stuck between a rock and a hard place right here because, yeah, we got 2 guys on the ground. He could kill both of them with the Informant. But what does he want? Does he want the Silver Furmaster, or does he want the Prosperous Thief more? He's swinging. This is an easy take for us, I think. Yeah. No blocks. Easy take. That means next turn we could swing for 6. Oh! Never mind. Well, we gotta do this, right? Tap him anyway. Swing for 6. We don't want to do any of that stuff. We just want to hit for 8. And we're in good shape. Creating treasures, all kinds of stuff. We got another Network Disruptor, too, in hand, which we could play to tap this thing out if he does so happen to decide to do that move again. I'm going to get back to move, though. What was that, Light the Way? Yeah, I've always said this card's usable. What's he grabbing? He's grabbing the Thief. Tapped land. Swing. No blocks. Alright, we get tapped land. That's my favorite kind of land. I don't know if you're aware. But we can pop a treasure here. Yeah, each opponent sacrifices a creature unless they discard a card. We get to do this twice. You are 2 hits away from death. There's 1. We leave everything as is. We see an Overseer come off. He's able to block some of this damage now. Tapped land. You got 1 land available. Do you swing again? Okay. No. Alright, discard or get rid of a creature. Don't know why he didn't discard a Homestead Courage earlier. You can still play it from the graveyard for 1. Metropolis Angel, huh? Disruptor. Tapping that. Next, swing in the air. Ninjutsu in the ambusher. There's 4 more damage. Down to 2. Tapping the informant doesn't really matter. But I think we got him here because these 2 in the air. Copy of a creature on the battlefield. Except that it enters with a shield counter on it if you control that creature. Gains a life. Very good. So the real question is, what do we draw? 1/1 counter on the informant. Swings. No blocks. Yeah, you're good, dude. Ooh, we got a 1,000-faced shadow. I think we just swing with everything here. He can't block them all. Blocking with the Overseer. Can't block them all. And of course we got a ninjutsu. Of course we do. And we got a good one. Why would you... What are you doing? Opponent, what are you doing? There you go. There you go. That's more like it. Come on. You got to block them all. You can do it, buddy. You're going to lose all your creatures. But it really doesn't matter. Pick up the Disruptor. Pop him onto the battlefield. Choose the Ambusher. Then we could even do this. Ambusher comes back out. Dink. And the opponent loses pretty badly here. All right. We did it. And we broke the sound. What a game.
And we are back with a post-game wrap. Boy, oh boy, this deck did not do poorly at all. But I think there are some major upgrades that we need to do for this deck. For this reason, we are going to rank this deck as probably a 4.25. Let's give it a 0.25 because we know we're going to upgrade this deck in the future, especially once rotation happens. I think that this is going to be a really good archetype to invest into because you're not going to have your meat hook massacres and these major board wipes. I think white's going to have a board wipe. Red's going to have a semi-board wipe with burn down the house, but I think a lot of the other board wipes are going away. Thank God. We've seen enough of these stinking board wipes. So, for this, instead of what I usually do and just talk about some cards that go out, I am on my other account and where I have a lot more cards, and we're going to actually look at an upgrade of this deck. I'm going to set the cards I don't really want over here, and I'll explain the logic behind this. 4 should be the top of your curve, with the exception of maybe the Kotos. Now, we want to keep the structure of this deck primarily the same because we're looking at this from a very budget standpoint. How do we upgrade these decks in the most budget-friendly way possible? Well, let's try to keep most of the structure here and just add a couple of different cards here and there that changes the mana curve and adds more synergies. Maybe even a different kill spell, maybe some more bounces. We'll get back to you when I pull these aside. Alright, so these are things that I know that we are getting rid of in this deck. March of Wretched Sorrows. We don't really have a huge amount of draw power in this deck in its current form, so we're going to get rid of this. We don't want to be discarding our black cards. Our cards are very important in this deck. This guy, pretty good, but a little expensive. Yes, his ninjutsu is 4, but for the most part, he's 6'4", 5'5". I mean, if you can get him ninjutsu'd in, he's kind of worth his value, but I don't like him, so I'm going to get rid of him. The Ambusher here, 2/4/3/2 lifelink. It just seems a little bit underpowered, so we're going to get rid of this. This, we definitely want more 1-drops, and that's another reason we're getting rid of some of the bigger stuff. We need more 1-drops. And we've got a good idea of what we're going to be using already. Just a heads up. Kodos, again, cost 5. And I don't think that's where this deck wants to be. And the same with Behold the Unspeakable. So, how do we want to actually upgrade this deck? Definitely want another Disruptor. Great 2-drop. Definitely want another Fading Hope. If we don't have enough stuff to, you know, ninjutsu something in, we can always Fading Hope, pull it up to our hand, and ninjutsu it in that way. That might be especially important with these 4,000 phase shadows that we've just put in here. 4 of those. That's going to do much more of the trick right there. We'll also add one more silver for master. Let's go ahead and get rid of Fake Your Own Death. Add in a couple of hackers here. I want to add a couple more Satoru Umezawas. I like Satoru Umezawa. I know, actually, no, do 2 of those. And then do 3 Kaitos, right? Because this is going to do a lot better for us in the long run, because we're going to have the draw advantage with Kaito, especially a deck like this. 26 creatures, 10 non-creatures. You're going to have to do something like this. And I actually want to add in something very important. And let's get rid of these guys just to get this in here. Let me find it real quick. I will say that I am breaking my own rule just a little bit with Kami of Restless Shadow. But let's take a look at this card. When Kami of Restless Shadow enters the battlefield, choose one. Return up to one target ninja or rogue creature card from your graveyard to your hand, or put a creature card from your graveyard on top of your library. So, you lose your... You start with Network Disruptor. You push out the Silencer. You discard a Silver Fur Master. You destroy their target creature. You put your Network Disruptor on. Later in the game, you can use Kami of the Restless to go back and get your Silver Fur Master. And yeah, you have immortal rogues and ninjas. And you can always pull this back off the field with the ninjutsu as well. This is the only card that's not a ninja in this deck. Oh, okay, I was just confirming that. Yes, I did not lie. This is the only card that is not a ninja in this deck, but what it does for ninjas is beautiful, and it's going to really help us out. We also, don't let me forget, have to fix our land. Get rid of all of these. Yes, we don't want any of those. What we want to do is add one of these, one of these, one of these. And we'll come over here. It's really unfortunate that I don't have the 4 Shipwreck Marshes. That's what we want to really upgrade them to. I can upgrade them, but I'm going to choose not to for the time in order to save some wild cards for different things that we want to do with this account. But that moves our mana curve down to 2.3. You'll do a lot better with this setup here. You're going to have Kaito a lot more. You're going to be able to draw cards a lot more. And there is actually one more change I want to make. We want Poison the Cups here. Sorry about that. I like this a lot better because you get the scry. This should add a lot more consistency. You're not waiting for lands to untap, which is going to be a lot better overall. You have a creature that's also a land. That could be a land early in the game, but later on in the game, if you need to get especially that menace damage off, he's going to be your man and be able to do that. You have infinite Kaitos, right? You have infinite unblockable ninjas, or you have infinite card draw advantage, whatever suits your needs at the time. You have ways of getting your creatures out of your graveyard. You have a lot of 1-drops, so on turn 2 you could be dropping creatures in. You want to be like a dropship helicopter. You don't want to be waiting for mana every turn. And with Satoru Umezawa, you're going to be able to draw yet another card the first time you ninjutsu something in. And it basically keeps quite the same structure. You are going to need to have 3 mythics. You're going to have a couple of rares. That's 3, 4 rares. But a lot of times that takes maybe a couple months to get a hold of, and you can craft this deck just like it is in its current form, and I think this will be a lot more solid. You notice our mana curve is much lower. We have a lot more creatures. We have a lot less non-creatures, so we are really relying on Kami of the Restless Shadows. Now, one thing we have to watch out for, board wipes. Thank you for being here. Make sure you like and subscribe. And I'm coming to that point in the video where I have completely run out of words.
Bye.